Hello, good evening, and welcome to News 360 from the home of news here in Adisawe. I am Isa Moni.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Let's get into the headlines for this evening.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by...
A video has emerged of the Asokwa police brutalizing Katanga Hall students of the KNUST after a Love FM old school reunion on Saturday.
African Court of Human and People's Rights grants provisional measures ordering Ghana not to sell Wyomin's assets until it decides the merit of the application before it.
Also, educationist Professor Anamwa Mensah says the free SHS policy hasn't done much to increase accessibility to education.
In business, Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana reduces its policy rate by 100 basis points.
And elsewhere on the continent this evening, former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe's birthday, officially declared the Robert Mugabe National Youth Day.
Now, a video has emerged of the Asokwa police brutalizing Katanga Hall students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology after a Love FM old school reunion on Saturday. Police in the video touched and slapped the students at the Tech Junction in Kumasi after they allegedly clashed with Unity Hall students. The police fired live ammunition before arresting them.
Charged, weapons cocked, the police had a simple mission: torture, brutalize, and arrest these students of KNUST after an old school reunion held in Kumasi. Helpless, these students looked, but the police will take no plea from them and onlookers. Slapped, dragged, and put in a police van. Information gathered by TV3 investigations indicate these students from Unity Hall clashed with their counterparts from Katanga after they had gone to perform at the old school reunion. 8 students were earlier arrested by the police and subsequently bailed.
We as an institution also are doing our own thing. We've had some names, and we are kind of profiling them, trying to find out who they are and what possibly they've done in the past, for us to take a very stringent measure or decision on them.
Details are emerging that the police had brutalized these students before reporting to their superiors of an arrest. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Accra.
Right, the Ashanti Regional Police PRO is Chief Inspector Godwin Ahianyo, and he has joined me on the phone. Godwin, good evening, and thank you for joining us. Hello, Godwin, can you hear me?
Yes, good evening.
All right. In the video, we saw the police slapping and kicking and beating some students up. What could have annoyed the police so much to, give this kind of brutality to the students?
Thank you very much, and greetings to your viewers. What the Regional Police Command can say for now is, when the incident happened and the men were sent to the scene, they came back and reported that they made arrest of 8 persons, whom we cautioned and then granted bail to report this morning. They were released to the security coordinator of the university. Then later, the command intercepted the video footage of police brutalities of these students. Just when police got wind of this video footage, the command then decided to take a serious view of these police brutalities and investigate it. As we speak, the command has come out with a statement asking the public to be rest assured that no personnel will be shielded. Meanwhile, the Police Intelligence and Professional Standards Department of the command has also been tasked to investigate the unprofessional conduct of our men. So I would say we don't know what actually triggered the action or the inaction of our men, and therefore an investigation has already started or begun into their action.
So what kind of report have the police made to their bosses? I mean, I don't know if charges have been preferred against the boys right now.
Yes, we
they have been arrested.
Actually charged them for rerouting and causing damage to some vehicles. You know, when the program was ongoing, we understand there was a clash between students from the Katanga Hall, that is the University Hall, and that of the Unity Hall. So when our men were asked to proceed there to avert any further clashes, they came back with a report that they made 8 arrests, and the students were cautioned and released on same day. For us to just intercept this video footage of their unfortunate brutalities of these 8 students.
What can you tell us about police investigations into the incident so far?
So far, as I indicated earlier, the command has tasked the tips to investigate the matter and report on it immediately. So the persons involved have been picked up and they are actually assisting us in our investigation. So we are assuring the public that the command, after watching this video footage, sees the conduct of our personnel as unprofessional and condemns it in no uncertain terms, and has taken a serious view. So we are assuring the public that nobody, no officer will be shielded, and that whoever is seen to have misconducted himself will be taken on.
All right, thank you very much. Chief Inspector Godwin Ahianyo, that's the Shanti Regional Police PRO, speaking to us on police brutalities meted out to some KNUST students after some clash at a Love FM Old School Reunion program. Now, here's the police statement that they have released after that. The Shanti Regional Police have issued a statement on the brutality of the KNUST students, saying on Saturday, November 25, police had information of a clash between Unity Hall students and Katanga Hall students at the Love FM Old Students Reunion at the Baba Yara Stadium in Kumasi. Now, 8 of the students were arrested after they pelted stones at each other, causing damage to a number of vehicles. They were granted a police inquiry bail. Police later intercepted a video footage of some police personnel who brutalized some of the students at the scene. They have referred the brutality to the Police Intelligence and Professional Standards Department for investigation. We'll be looking forward to the end of what police may find out, particularly if it confirms the video that we just saw.
Certainly, Issa. But on to other stories now. The Africa Court on Human and People's Rights in Arusha has granted provisional measures ordering Ghana to stay the attachment of Alfred William's assets until it decides the merit of the application before it. The court further ordered Ghana to report back measures it has taken to implement the injunctive interim measure. The court also unanimously stayed the attachment of the applicant's property and to take all appropriate measures to maintain the status quo. It again ordered the respondent to report to the court within 15 days from the date of receipt on the measures taken to implement this order.
In the news tonight, our kids are not reading and teachers do not seem to care. These are the words of renowned education Professor Jeffers Anamwa Mensah. Now, the executive chair of the Teacher Education in Sub-Saharan Africa believes Ghana's current education system has failed to serve the best interests of children.
Education is affected by changes in government and socio-economic status of countries the world over, and Ghana is no exception. In 2002, the Kufuor government instituted a 20-man presidential committee to review the educational system in the country. The goal of the committee was to come out with recommendations to align Ghana's educational system with the changing needs of society. 15 years down the line, the chair of the committee believes Ghana's education system is not the best.
Ghana's education should be one of the best. It used to be in Africa, but should be one of the best in the world. Our kids cannot read, and teachers don't seem to care. Nobody seems to care. There should be a time on the timetable that they should go. This is library period. Somebody there with literacy to help them.
According to Professor Jofus Anamwa-Mensah, a lack of monitoring and supervisory system has contributed to the falling standards in education.
Whenever there is weak management and supervision, then the child's faith is in danger. So it is important that we have a management system put in place that will ensure supervision, that will ensure that there is monitoring by even external agencies. So the establishment of the National Inspectorate Board is very critical.
He called for proper incentives and remuneration of teachers in local communities and a standard guide to teaching and learning. The chairman of the Ghana Education Service Council, Michael Insoa, believes the passage of a national policy on education would limit political interference in education.
The whole world has agreed that by 2030, every nation should give the minimum level of education should be secondary. And if having launched this one, people have already started, they are not, it means Ghana is known for moving forwards and backwards, which is not good for this nation.
The lecture was a third in a series of public lectures organized by Media General.
I will stay on education as the Executive Chairman of Teacher Education for Sub-Saharan Africa, Professor Jofus Anamwa-Mensah, says the free SHS policy hasn't done much to increase accessibility to education. According to him, government must eliminate all barriers that affect quality, accessible education. He was speaking at a public lecture organized by the Media General Group.
The news lecture was on the theme, "Has the current system of education served the best interests of the child?" The professor bemoaned the elitist nature of the country's educational system, which did not encourage competitiveness among students. He believed the current system favored the rich at the expense of the poor. According to him, the implementation of the free SHS policy had not done much to increase the ratio of 14 to 18-year-olds in second cycle institutions.
If you look at the participation of 14 to 18-year-olds, you find that we have just 22.5% of that population in senior high schools. And if you look at countries that have developed, you won't find anyone with less than 50. So we are really down. So it becomes important for us to do something about it.
He believed it was imperative on government to eliminate all barriers that hindered students' access to quality education. Social policy analyst Dr. William Ahaji asked for a national policy that would prevent political interference in the free SHS policy.
We should depoliticize discussions and debates about education. We should have a blueprint so that we see that within the next 25 years or the next 15 years or even the next 10 years, this is what we want to achieve in the provision of facilities, in the provision of teaching and learning materials, providing incentives for teachers and others, and then establishing effective school management systems. These short-term approaches to dealing with the problems in education are not helpful.
And now 78 construction workers nearly assaulted an Ivorian Portuguese interpreter in the TUC building, accusing him of conniving with their employer to escape out of the country with their redundancy package. The angry workers were of the view the interpreter facilitated the acquisition of passport and other relevant documents which were seized by the East Legon police station.
The 78 workers were recruited by CDPM, which was a company owned by the Portuguese employer. The company was tasked to embark on construction works at the Kotoko International Airport. It received the contract from MSF, which is also another construction company. After some time, CDPM lost the contract and workers were laid off. For 5 months, the workers have demanded their redundancy package, but have not received it. Upon their checks, they realized the employer has left the country, posing a challenge to the payment of the amount. However, the mother construction company, which is MSF, has to pay an amount of 117,000 cedis to CDPM. But the amount, according to the human resource manager of MSF, cannot pay off the redundancy package of the workers. A total sum of 203,000 cedis is to be used to pay the workers.
In July, there was an outstanding money that we ought to pay to CDPM. You paid. And we insisted that, look, find a way to pay this money to your workers. The money went to the man, and that was the end. Derry should talk to his boss. If his boss will agree for us to pay the compensation that has been worked out based on the collective agreement, they're going to do that.
Currently, the employer cannot be traced, while an interpreter to the employer has also refused to link up with him. This angered the workers who threatened to assault him. The Mother Union of the Workers, Construction and Building Materials Workers Union, pleaded with the workers for additional 2 weeks to address the problem.
This matter is an industrial matter. I'm telling them that we have to give him the benefit of the doubt by giving him 2 days. 2 days, he should reason up with the director, give us the information or the feedback, and then we see the way forward.
But the workers appeared dissatisfied.
At the first time, we corrected the director's passport and give it to airport police commander over there. And later, he released the passport to the director and he ran away. That's why we are afraid that this man also can run away.
It's too difficult because it is simple at time to call the boss to communicate so that we get our money. But he's making as if they're refusing to call the boss.
The interpreter, who declined to speak on camera, assured to get the consent of Portuguese employer before monies are released to pay their packages.
We'll bring you more on that in subsequent bulletins. But away from that, the Cantonment Divisional Police Command has rounded up 22 suspected commercial sex workers operating within the Togo Embassy roundabout enclave. Some of the suspects, including a medical doctor and a teenager nursing mother, have been engaged in the commercial sex activity for over 21 years. The 22 suspects are made up of 12 Nigerians, 4 Ghanaians, 2 Togolese, 2 Liberians, 1 Beninois and 1 Cameroonian. They're aged between 15 and 35 years and operate around the Togo Embassy, Cantonment Post Office, Italian Embassy, Kufo Roundabout, among other vital areas. One of the Nigerians, who claimed to be a medical doctor, has relocated to Accra 21 years ago and had been in the business all this while. She told us she had 1 child whom she had sent to stay with her mother back in Nigeria after the police had arrested her some 4 years ago for prostitution. The youngest suspect, a Ghanaian who is 15 years old, is nursing a 7-month-old child. She told us she always leaves the baby in the care of a friend to seek sex partners around the Togo Embassy. There is also a 24-year-old twins from Nigeria. They relocated to Ghana this year to join others in the oldest profession and pitched a camp at Cantonment. The police say their action was informed by persistent public complaint over the commercial sex workers' continuous nuisance in the area.
The onus is on the courts. If the fines are very heavy and it will take them about 6 months to be able to pay off the fines. It will not be encouraging for them, it will not be profitable for them to go back to do the same thing.
All 22 are to be put before court, charged with illegal soliciting for sex.
You're on News 360. We're taking a break right now. We will return with the business news.
You're still watching News 360. Thanks for staying with us. Time for business with me, Nanikia Mensah Brampa. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has reduced its policy rate by 100 basis points to 20% from 21%. Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, explained economic activity continued to improve as prices of Ghana's major exports continued to firm up on the international market.
Global growth has strengthened further since the last MPC meeting, sustained by strong growth in demand and recovery in investments and trade. The recovery process has also expanded beyond advanced economies to include large emerging market economies. Growth in sub-Saharan Africa is also slowly rebounding. The improved global growth conditions notwithstanding, inflation remains subdued. These favorable external conditions could impact positively on the domestic economy through the financing and trade channels. Price developments during the first 10 months of the year continue to show signs of dampening inflation expectations. Headline inflation, measured by the Consumer Price Index, was 11.6% for October 2017. Prices of Ghana's major export commodities continue to firm up in the international commodities market. In particular, crude oil prices have strengthened in recent weeks, reflecting geopolitical tensions, supply constraints, and strong demand. Total public debt stood at 138.9 billion at the end of September from 138.1 billion. Of the total debt, domestic debt declined to 63.3 billion, while external debt went up to 75.5 billion. Under the circumstances, the committee decided to reduce the policy rate by 100 basis points to 20%.
Right, so you just heard the governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, there giving us a breakdown of that 20% policy rate of a reduction of 100 basis points. Let's do more. And MTN, a leading communication network, has honored loyal customers in appreciation of their loyalty. Packages such as handsets, power banks, and other MTN products were given out to customers.
MTN continues to recognize its valued and loyal customers. At an annual Meet the Customer soiree in Accra, several clients were rewarded with various packages in appreciation for their patronage of MTN products.
At MTN, customers are the very core of everything we do, and we appreciate the fact that our customers are the reason we still exist and are in good business. And so we take time out to just celebrate our customers and to say thank you. Thank you for their patronage of our products and services and their loyalty.
She assured clients of MTN's commitment to have similar client soirees in various regions in the country.
We still have plans of extending this to the northern regions and to other areas that we haven't covered yet. We give high-end handsets like the latest Samsung S8 Plus and the S8, the iPhones. The iPhone 8 is also out, and iPhone X. So we just, give back to our customers to say thank you, really a big thank you, and we're truly appreciative of their loyalty.
Some of the customers who were rewarded shared their experience with TV3.
I had an issue with MTN, and it took the whole CEO to call me and apologize for that network interruption. And I really felt like I'm welcomed on this.
It's wonderful. I wasn't expecting this, but it's been great. I've been with MTN for 15 years, so I haven't been with any other network.
Management of MTN advised the public to continue subscribing to the network to maximize the opportunities through the integration of its numerous benefits.
And traders crossing the Makangoyeji River in the East Gonja district of the northern region are losing their produce as they wait for their turn to board the only ferry stationed at the bank of the Volta Lake in the northern region. Meanwhile, a fleet of vehicles continue to pile up at the riverbank, also in an attempt to cross the lake.
Tubers of yam and other foodstuff have begun to rot. About 74 cargo trucks carrying yams and other cereal crops have been kept for over 5 days. This has caused heavy vehicular and human traffic. The platoon travels 3 times a day and carries about 6 to 7 of the cargo trucks, depending on their weight. The traders want the Highway Authority and the Transport Ministry to immediately make provisions for another ferry to complement the existing one.
There's no pontoon that is ready to transport our goods. All our yams are rotten. The road is also in a bad shape. They say there are armed robbers on the Eastern Corridor Road, so we returned. Government should intervene to provide an additional ferry.
They should have planned this thing before they have closed their pen, but they didn't do that. People are suffering here. Their business has collapsed.
The Roads and Highway Ministry on November 21, 2017 ordered for the immediate closure of the Yape and Buipe bridges on the Tamale-Kumasi Highway for maintenance work. The bridges, constructed about 5 decades ago, according to engineers, could collapse any time if not maintained.
And in the month of a series of captains, Time with the Captains, today we have the CEO of Apollonia City Bright, Owusu Amofa, who addressed some students from the Gimpa School. Let's hear what he had to say.
I asked myself, this is where I am today. Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? And what do I need to do to get there? So that's a question I asked myself after school. You've just finished school. Where do I want to see myself and what do I need to do to get there? And then you start preparing yourself for that, essentially. That is what I did. So it's, again, working hard. I knew that I had to go and have a second degree. And I knew I had to go into investment banking. So what do I do? Yeah, that's about it. And you just, once you set that path for yourself, it's just a matter of really following it and working hard to get to where you want to get to.
Remember, Time with the Captains holds every last Monday of the month, and that was for the month of November. Well, we have more coming up on News 360. My name is Nutri Foods. Have a good evening.
Hello, good evening. Time to run by you the latest sporting action from the world of sport. And there's only one place to start. Remember, on January 4th, the CAF Awards will be held here in Accra. And earlier today, the Confederation of African Football reviewed the other nominees. We know who the top 5 players for the main award, the Player of the Years, but CAF has released a new list of the players who will be in contention. And as you can see there, Ghana under 20 up for that particular award with the Nigeria under 20, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. This list, not particularly the strongest, but the Ghana under 20 in there largely because of what they've done throughout the qualifiers. Now, elsewhere, there is also the list that has been reviewed by CAF for the Young Player of the Year, includes Ghana under 17 captain Eric Ayia, who would battle with a number of other players. Most of them haven't done well under the 17 World Cup plus the under 20 World Cup. The other nominees reviewed by CAF earlier today also includes the Coach of the Year awards, the National Team of the Year, Cameroon having won the Nations Cup in 2017, something you saw here on TV3. Egypt, having qualified for the World Cup for the first time in a mighty long while, Zambia were remarkable at Under-20 World Cup, and Mali went all the way up to the final in the FIFA Under-17 World Cup. They get reward for that. And having guided Cameroon to the Nations Cup trophy, their coach Hugo Bruce is one of the names on the list for Coach of the Year, as is Gerardo, the German who has led Nigeria back to World Cup. Hector Cooper in there as well as Kazembe, who won last Sunday the CAF Confederation Cup with TP Mazembe. Those awards will be determined, as I mentioned, on January 4th here in Accra. Let's do some other stories then. And the Ghana Football Association Executive Committee are meeting in Cape Coast in a bid to address the falling standard of the sport in the country. Ghana has struggled at both club and international level in recent years, while the domestic league fails to attract the required level of sponsorship. The GFA is hoping stakeholders, including referees, club administrators, and journalists, can provide a clear roadmap to improve the game ahead of the start of next season in February. The forum will end on Wednesday under the theme Ghana Football, Stronger Partnerships for a Brighter Future. And let's do two quick football notes for you. And former Chelsea technical director Michael Emanalo is back at a major European club after he was named technical director at the French side AS Monaco. The Nigerian will be required to help the club continue its rich tradition of developing some of the finest young players in the world. And in the Premier League, one of the players Emanalo brought through, Romelu Lukaku, has avoided a 3-match ban after the FA said it will not pursue allegations that he kicked a player off the ball in Man United's 1-0 win over Brighton. The decision will be music to the ears of Jose Mourinho, who would have lost the Belgian for the Manchester derby against Man City. And in Italy, Vincenzo Montella has been sacked as AC Milan coach. He's been replaced by a man most of us absolutely love watching, Gennaro Gattuso. So Gattuso is the new man in charge of the Italian giants AC Milan, who are trying to resurrect their old fortunes. And the search for football talent in recent years has become big business, with millions of dollars traded in the transfer market and players desperate for the big break. The business of unearthing talent and connecting them to the right market has become huge. But in Ghana, there is at least one person who is backing the trend and proving that there is still a place for that age-old one-man scouting job and player development. Yaofusula Abi went along to meet him.
Along an isolated beach in Kokobite, Abdul Hayate takes about 20 boys through their morning beach session.
Keep moving, come on, let's go. No walking there, finish hard. Help yourself, oh, help yourself.
The exercise is intense, but the boys give their all, knowing that the potential rewards are huge. Some of these players have just returned from the Under-17 World Cup. Some have had trials in Europe, and all of them are hoping that one day they will be chasing balls with the biggest names in world football. And they all know one man who can make that possible. Yate has been in charge of the Cheetah Football Club for over 10 years. In that period, he has had a hand in triggering the professional breakthrough for his own brother, Ismail Yate, Christian Achu of Newcastle United, and Alhassan Wakasu, who plies his trade in Portugal. Those players were the final product of intense scouting, and Yate says that is the greatest form of satisfaction.
My motivation is to actually help a lot of these young boys to get to the level of Christian, where they can take care of themselves. They will not actually have to struggle to be on the street and have to be doing the jobs that, should I say, shoddy jobs, but they'll be respected as footballers, and then they'll be able to take care of themselves, they'll be able to take care of their family, and then they'll be able to take care of other people, and then they will represent Ghana and then give Ghana laurels.
Yate is adamant he has a new crop who can go on to do even better than his famous three. Emmanuel Toku is one of them. The 17-year-old made a name for himself at the Africa Youth Championship in Gabon and the World Cup in India, where he dazzled many with his skills. Like Achu, Toku wants to climb the football ladder cautiously and become one of Africa's big names.
As a young player like me, I want to be in Europe to play like Champions League, English Premier League, Bundesliga, so that I'll be mentioned in the world. I want to make a good name for me, like how what Pele, Abedi Pele, Aseko Datilamte. I want to become like them.
The bedrock of every football team is the young players coming through. To institute this is to make provision for a proper scouting network. Hai believes there's a future for Ghana in that area.
There are certain players at a young age that have certain special quality that you have to identify. There is a saying that Ghana there will be a coach. Scouting go beyond that.
In our final story, Russian athletes will remain banned from international competition after the IAAF said the country had not done enough to clamp down on doping. Athletics governing body banned Russia in November 2015 over evidence of state-sponsored doping. The decision comes before December's International Olympic Committee meeting over the country's participation at the 2018 Winter Olympics in South Korea. Some Russians can compete as neutrals if they are able to satisfy the testing procedure. And that's all the sport. There's more sport throughout tomorrow. In the meantime, News 360 returns shortly.
Welcome back to News 360. In entertainment news this evening, rapper Kese is against any move to legalize homosexuality in Ghana. In a tweet, the Yakubu composer argued it is morally wrong for a man to sleep with a fellow man, noting any attempts to legalize the act should be condemned. Actress Lydia Forson has, however, argued that the president's comments were spot on.
Asked why homosexuality is illegal in Ghana, President Akufo-Addo, in an interview with Al Jazeera, said no strong pro-homosexuality coalition has so far emerged to push for its legalization. Many have differed with the president, arguing his rather soft position could influence the emergence of such groups. Rapper Kese is among the many Ghanaians who have added their voice to the discourse. The boss of Mad Time Entertainment is against the legalization of homosexuality in Ghana. The rapper believes it is morally wrong for any individual to engage in same-sex, noting even animals do not engage in such acts. His tweet also asked, have they finished legalizing marijuana? Well, Kese is not the only known entertainer to join the argument. Actress Lydia Forson thinks the president's response doesn't in any way condone the act. She is of the view that the president wasn't voted into power to enforce his own personal beliefs on Ghanaians, adding he rather gave an intellectual response devoid of emotions. Lydia argued that the law exists to protect all and not impose one's personal beliefs, views and practices on minority groups.
Now some royal news. Few days after rumors hit the public that Sweet's Rachel Zani had taken a bow from the series, it's been confirmed that the 36-year-old was making preparations to take up her royal role. She will tie the knot with Prince Harry in 2018 during spring.
Suit actress Rachel Meghan Markle is engaged to Britain's Prince Harry. The two, who have been dating since 2016, are set to tie the knot in a royal luxurious event in spring of 2018. A statement released by the royal family earlier indicated that the two have been officially engaged since
Well, lovely one there. On to other stories. Nutri Foods Ghana Limited, producers of Perk Milk Shortcake Biscuits, has wrapped up its series of the Perk Hush Party with the 4th edition of the silent party dubbed Reloaded. For many, the mere thought of a silent yet loud party is what makes them eager to have the experience.
While silent parties have gained popularity around the world, the trend is gradually taking shape in Ghana. A silent party is simply a dance party where there's no ambience music. Instead, all the music is transmitted wirelessly through headphones. Party people had the luxury to toggle through 3 of Ghana's finest DJs, DJ Aroma, DJ Black and DJ Viroski, while switching through their playlist for their favorite songs. Brands manager of Nutri Foods Ghana, Pearl Ano, said the party was their way of showing appreciation to their loyal customers through its value as a personal mood uplifter.
We look at what Perk Milk Shortcake delivers to our consumers, where it is able to take you to your own personal dream parties world, away from the stress and bring you back in a much better mood.
She encouraged customers to be on the lookout for more surprises from Nutri Foods.
Enjoying Perk the way you love to, and we're still there to perk you up, to keep surprising you, just like we always do. Perk Milk Shortcake, like we always say, we're here to perk up your day.
Perk Milk Shortcake biscuits have been on the Ghanaian market for less than 2 years, and it's already become a household name in Ghana. Known for its trendy blue package, a richness of real milk with unique biscuit design, Perk Milk Shortcake biscuits have delighted many consumers since its launch.
Well, Pekka's party indeed. People jumping about you. Really
in their own world.
All right, then that's it for this edition of News 360. I'm Isa Morning, thanks for watching.
And I'm Natalie Fort. We've got more news on our website, 3news.com. These are 10 simulcast on our sister station, 3FM 92.7. Have a lovely evening.